G'day and kia ora from the southern hemisphere, the interiors, the world of Middle Earth. My name is Mark Capel, so jump over that barbed wire fence in your mind and open your mind. I really was trying hard today to make sure that I got streamed. But apparently the last broadcast did not stream to either YouTube channel, so it's very frustrating. So there you just saw, if you just joined me at the beginning, you saw my new Mountain of Entities intro. So welcome everybody. I had some really horrible news yesterday. Sunday night, I had this this feeling to watch the video, Mike and Mechanics. If any of you old folk like me, Mike and Mechanics, The Living Years. You know the one I'm talking about? Well, I had this feeling and I kept having this nagging feeling to send my father, who's dying of cancer in Australia, send him a picture of his grandkids. Well, I decided to send an email with his grandkids in them, and I just sent it, and about an hour later, my father died at 8 o'clock yesterday morning in Australia. He had been a real skeptic to what I'm doing, and the spirit being I called Matthew talked about him. He's a tough mushroom, is what he said. He's about to die. You may have heard those messages that I got, along with the UFO footage and the other very strange stuff that is going place down there. This is a place where things are happening. You know, it's not all flashy. The stuff is happening and making connection with other realms, and those other realms are reaching back to me. Now, that is not where the strangeness ends, my friends. I got an email this morning. Hi Pam. Thank you for joining in. Glad you're not asleep. Yeah, I've been a bit emotional. So I get this strange email that says that someone subscribed to my old website, hauntedman.net, which is basically inactive. Have a look at this message that I got this morning. Now, just take in mind that my father's just died 24 hours ago, and yes, I am feeling a little bit sad, and probably more sad about the circumstances surrounding his passing. Anyway, I had just had this feeling to send an email. But anyway, I looked on my messages today. See if I can bring this up here. I'm going to have to take myself off the stream, the video stream, to bring it up. So now, did you see that? It says, Mark I Wiser. Well, somebody has created a title saying Mark I Wiser, or you could say Marcy Wiser, or Mark I Wiser. I don't know. That's a little strange, isn't it? I mean, I did get a message from the people of Theodore. Some people think they're the Zetas, that apparently a civilization below in the bowels of the earth. And some people think that, no, I'm not sure how this is known. For it to be known, someone had to see what was going on. There has to be reports. There has to be some kind of feedback, reliable feedback. So I don't know. Are they the Zetas? I don't know, but they're highly intelligent. I'm going to also show you today. You may remember that footage that I played not long ago. That saucer. Well, I have more. Today I have more. March 12th of this year, I went out to this research area number 2, and not only did I get voices on the ground, I also caught these anomalous craft flying and now it seems that there's a third camera that also caught them. My drone, when I got out there, I love flying my drone. I actually was out there flying my drone. I caught two of these sources moving fast. Now my drone was also moving, but they're quite highly reflective. They start going down into this valley. This is where all the stuff has been happening. All these craft are moving around. I was picking up these voices. Today, I'm going to be playing new voices for you. And I'll be playing some ITC messages. So I am a little bit emotionally fragile. I was expecting this. And, of course, my father's passing. So excuse me. Today, I am a bit emotional. But I'm doing pretty well, I think. So let the strangeness begin. And I wonder, my father, where he is right now. I don't know if they be given like 3 days before they go into the light tunnel. I've read books saying that they are given some time before the funeral, I should imagine that some of the relatives that have met me in spirit have gone to greet my father 24 hours plus ago. So let's get into this. I will play these voices that got captured. This is ongoing research, folks. This is wild as it gets. And I have a very humble, tiny ant of a channel. So let's get down to it. But big stuff. The algorithm can't discern truth and genuine. It's only by popularity, I guess. So here we go. Voices from the area.
That is awesome for artificial noise here. Planes, cars, movement in the bush is something. Some kind of movement. Animal maybe. Something pretty. Picking up voices down here in this loud area. This vessel craft on camera. I forgot I didn't see live, but we put up on camera flying around here watching me.
Not long ago that I caught all these craft on my cameras. One went through over here and behind this mountain, and it came up on the other side over there. Moving incredibly fast, like beyond Mark 3. No sonic boom, completely silent. Only seen in the frames of the video. Okay, so there you go. Yeah, I don't know, Pam. I think he knows my father and described his personality. Yeah. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Sorry about the the little ad that popped up, the watermark. You had to use some software to, even though the video is like, 2 minutes long, I had to use software to compress it because StreamYard will not let me upload files over 200 megabytes. And with video, it very easily goes over that. So they've put that watermark in there because I've had to make the video file size a little smaller. So anyway, at the end of that footage, it says, "We are the aliens." If you listen very carefully. Also, there's names like Elsa. Those voices that you hear, none of those are mine. And the one that comes through very loud, Matthew, that's what I call him. He says that's their craft down there. Now he's observing, this is a spirit being, I'll call him a spirit being to make it simple. He's observing this, where this UFO is, and also these other, now are they the Bigfoot people who are aware of what's going on? This is very strange. It's like something out of a movie. Now, in the next sample I'm going to play you, I have actually been combing through all that footage from March 12th of this year of 2021, where I caught a number of craft flying around me, moving very fast. My drone caught there's two of them that come down from the sky and they go down into this valley. Quite highly reflective, especially at the beginning. Now, they're not giant. They're not like giant craft. They're more like, there's different voices in there, Pam. Yeah, there are. Maybe I'll play. Shall I play this back again for you? Just, I feel maybe prematurely that I'm moving on too quickly. But here we go. Here we go again. I'll play that again.
That is all simple artificial noise here. Planes, cars, movement in the bush is not there. Some kind of movement. Animal, maybe. Some big people. Picking up voices down here. In this railroad. This vessel craft on camera. I forgot I didn't see live, but we picked up on camera flying around here watching me.
Not long ago that I caught all these craft on my cameras. One went through over here and behind this mountain, and it came up on the other side over there. Moving incredibly fast, like beyond Mach 3. No sonic boom, completely silent. Only seen in the frames of the video. So there we go, folks. There's a lot of stuff in there. I agree, you're probably like, that went over your head. So if you want to, you can go back at your leisure at the end of this podcast. As I've said in the past, that I'm transitioning the podcast to Mountain of Entities, to my new web channel on YouTube and my blog. Now, those voices, they talk about Elsa. This is what is happening, is there's bleed through occurring from the isolated ITC controlled world where I'm using electronics to get these messages The same information is coming through into the live area in nature. And believe me, folks, if they want to get message through to you, they will. They'll find a way. Now, something very interesting. I was thinking about the sirens. Remember the sirens? Was it the Greeks? Was it Plato? Talked about these sirens, these temptresses that would take men to their deaths. Their voices. They were a beautiful woman that would take people to their death. They would take them in, and maybe mermaids sort of come from some of that. Sorry, Pam, what was that? You didn't say that about the craft on camera. Oh, can you elaborate, please, Pam? So anyway, one interesting thing too is, as I looked in more into these sirens, these temperatures, we also have the patapere, which the Maori talked about, that would take, the Maori claimed that they would take their people and breed with them and things like that. I've gotten erotic messages out here as well. I've also my other area, these footprints, all of the Bigfoot-like structures. If any of you are Bigfoot researchers like me, you could be in the field, you could have something right next to you, would not see it. Now forget the predator thing. There's stuff there that you will not be able to see. It'll be there standing right next to you, observing what you're doing. Your best chances is to take audio recorders with you and play that back carefully and listen for things that are going on that you might not be realizing. I quite often I will hear things and I'll have to play it back later to understand what they're saying. The craft on camera. So yeah, Pam, if you're still there, please elaborate on that, on what you're saying there. The craft on camera. There's been multiple things happening. The craft were one thing that was going on, and then there was these voices. Now, these other voices are voices that I have gotten in subsequent visits after that March 12th of this year, 2021 capture. There are other voices that got captured out in this area, and there's also movement out there as well. And he mentions, Matthew, I'll call him, says, you find their poo or something. And he talks about, seeing them. They mentioned too that, even this thing that sounds like a toy. Now, going back to the sirens of a Greek mythology, Plato, was it Plato that talked about it? Well, apparently they're thought to be part bird. Now, these voices don't sound normal. Some of them sound like they are birds. Is it a case of pareidolia? Is it just my brain making connections with something that is not really there anyway? It's just wishful thinking or whatever. Well, I'm sure that you agree, if you listen very carefully to these voices, at least some of them, that there's something very strange going on in this area. Now, they are getting drawn to me. I have been doing this for quite a while. I have been doing a lot of work with metaphysical, dealing with energy, meditation kind of stuff. So anyway, so well, on the camera, well, this is when I was actually filming on camera. There was multiple things happening, Pam. I wore point of view cameras. The day that I went out there, March 12th, I actually flew my drone first. I did a lot of footage, and so I've been combing through that footage. When you're doing this stuff, it takes a while to go through footage. But anyway, what I'm going to show you today is two of these other ones going down. This is different to, if you saw the slow still there, this is different, a separate piece of footage. Now, I just showing stills, screenshot stills of the video. There's two of them. They're quite highly reflective. They're moving down. They're not like, they're not going like Mark III. They may be close to the speed of sound. I mean, pretty fast, but it's not going as fast as the other one. Now, I think they've slowed down to go into the valley. That's my opinion. So let me bring up that footage. At the beginning of the footage, I also play back ITC messages or instrumental transcommunication messages, which some of them reflect the messages that are being recorded in the field. So let's just go and play that now. Here's my instrumental transcommunication messages, along with the new craft footage. So check this out.
Thank you. Bigfoot what? That's my friends.
Rockford, man.
Where?
Okay, so there you go. They talk about coming back for me. They talk about collecting me. It's pretty astounding stuff. They made fun of my toilet at my place. They said that they're not cold. They don't have cold nights like we do. Now, if they do have underground, if they do have cities underground, well, then obviously it's going to be more like hot under there than cold. The further down you go, the hotter it gets. My understand is when you drill down to the earth, you can only really get so far because the drill bits get destroyed because of the extreme heat the further down you go. So anyway, those are pretty interesting, aren't they? So there's just those stalls of those other seem to be craft. They're not giant. Now my drone was panning around as it caught these on camera. I did not see these live, and I have poured over my footage. I've got bird's eye view. I've got all kinds of footage from that day. So it does take a while to go through all this kind of stuff. So really, really interesting, to say the least. So this stuff, it can certainly keep you awake at night. It's made me wonder what's going on and that. And I think that this illustrates a bleed through effect of information of two forms of communication: the electronic communication and also in the wild, some of which I do hear a little bit, but it's hard to make out live. So this is why I record stuff and listen back. This is using mostly parabolic. Sometimes the cameras that I wear, the mics aren't great on. The GoPro's pretty crappy. Pocket mics that sometimes I'll wear on body. Quite often I'll wear. Sometimes I'll pick up stuff too, quite often. But the best thing is the parabolic. The parabolic is the one that gets this man called Matthew. He's talked about my father that was about to die. He's talking about UFO. He says UFO I travel with. He says you'll find their poo. He's then talking to these beings, which I believe they're Bigfoot-related beings down in the bush, what the Maori might call the Patapere, the Sasquatches, or are they some other kind of being? Are they spirit beings? But they are very much have power in our realm. They have, as a paranormal investigator, someone who's dealt a lot with ghosts, that they have a lot of energy to manifest in our realm, is what I'm trying to say. To rip down trees, to make structures, to the footprints, some of them quite deeply embedded into the ground in the mud. The feelings of being followed and stones being thrown, the stone clacks, the wood knocks. I mean, all these different kinds of things. I would sometimes capture things when I was in this my area, research area number 1, stuff that seemed to be watching me that didn't look normal at all. So what's going on? This is actually pretty alarming stuff. Some of the words they use. What was the word they used for the toilet? Oh, that's right. It's a word I haven't heard in a long time. bog. They were laughing at my bog. I think that's a slang word that hasn't been used. I haven't heard a toilet used as a bog for a long time. Been a long time. Now, a lot of the words that come through are archaic. So kind of really interesting. And some of the things they talk about, you would not be able to have on a broadcast. Some of them are kind of erotic messages too. If you listen very carefully to some of those, this is not normal broadcast. Sometimes things that are said which would be illegal to say, particularly in the land where I live as well. So what do you think about those? I'm going back to the comments here, so I'm just going to switch back and have a look. Yeah, I wish I would send you an itinerary. Yeah. They have talked about craft. Yes, the man Matthews talked about the craft. Yes. Well, he actually used the words UFO that I travel with. And one of my podcasts, probably about a month ago, he's used the word UFO I travel with. So, folks, this is as strange as it gets. There's multiple forms of phenomena taking place on the same day, and not only on the same day, it's also there's a follow-through effect that is reoccurring. It's pretty mind-blowing, really. And I've had a lot of stuff happen already. So, look, my goal is part of my goal is to not only to be respectful and empathetic and understanding and cooperative, but it's also to record what's going on and what I'll be allowed in a respectful manner. I make very aware to any of the beings out there that I am recording. I am wearing cameras. Most of the time I have video rolling. I've got audio rolling. And so I think that respect goes a long way. It has for me. So March 12th of this year was I hit the mother lode with UFOs along with the other stuff that was taking place on the ground. Then 2017 in March, was it April? Mount Moehau, the mountain of the Patapirahe and New Zealand's Bigfoot, Moehau's, the Mararoos, the Maori, the Sasquatches. All these cultures have different names for them. I also had caught very similar footage of similar craft or in this mountain valley area. Some of them seem to be going into the ground. Some of them were like balls of light that moved as well. And so this goes beyond the law of averages, what I'm capturing. And I believe this is a follow-on effect from my years of doing this stuff, doing what's called ITC communications. Did any of you see the Skull experiment, SCOLE, over in England? For a period of about 5 years, two mediums performed a bunch of experiments and recorded their sessions. Hi, Tom. Welcome. Anyway, and during this period of communication, they were down in this basement. They brought in a magician to check for forgery. They had sealed film that had these images come through on them, writing close to 100 apported antique items. Pam, Matthew may be a guide of some kind. He's very aware of what's going on. Did I see the Yowie thermal images? No, I'm not sure which one you mean. Sorry, Tom. No, you have to fill me in on that. I don't, I try to follow other people, but I keep very busy myself. It's very hard for me to keep an eye on what's going on unless it's really out there in the media. This stuff is amazing. This stuff is all real. All those audio recordings is real. I'm getting not only am I getting the UFO stuff, I'm also capturing voices similar to Ron Moorhead's Sierra Sounds. Some of the calls that they have made are the typical Bigfoot kinds of calls, but there's also language going on. There's sometimes words that I don't understand. I could type things into the search engine and it won't give me, I won't get a feedback on some of this language that's coming through all these places that they name as well. So welcome. I am Mark Capel, the Haunted Man. Thank you for joining me. Not here under the best of conditions. So yes, the Waitakere Ranges, Tom, that you ask, there have been a few sightings out my way because I live out west way. These some of the sightings were from people that had no idea, young children, let's say, that were not aware of Bigfoot. I mean, sightings from kids that had no conditioning whatsoever of what Bigfoot, or that even Aotearoa, New Zealand even had a Bigfoot either. So this stuff, yes, I know it sounds crazy. Is Mark crazy? Listen to those sounds, watch the footage, watch my past podcasts. Am I just imagining this stuff? All it takes is for one of these things to be real, and it shows that not all black crows are black. If there's a white crow and it's recorded, there's a white crow. White crows do exist. So yeah, thanks. Thanks for joining me. What do you think about footage? Oh boy, that's Murphy's Law, isn't it? My phone starts ringing, so I should have stuck the science button on. Anyway, so anyway, interesting stuff. They're very well aware of me. I don't think this is so much what's going on geographically. I think this is a lot to do with me being out in the wild. I have a theory. If we go back to Old Testament biblical times, the seers would go into the mountains to communicate with God, in quotations, to have these communications. So anyway, so what do you think? Do you think these prophets of old, they would go up and they were communicating with maybe something similar? I don't know. So really, it comes down to a case of nomenclature, doesn't it? The terminology that we give something that we may not understand across culture and time and history. So thanks so much for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. My podcast will be taken off on my original YouTube channel. I'm not keeping my podcast up on there. So as I say, I'm transitioning to this other channel through mountainofentities.com. You just got through there. But I will be keeping all my podcasts in my new channel, YouTube channel. So you just go through if you're coming through my original Haunted Man channel, then just go to mountainofentities.com and click on the YouTube link up there, and it will take you to subscribe. Also, click on that bell to get all notifications for anything that's coming through. Thank you so much for joining me. It's really good to hear from folks, and I'm just flashing up on screen here. Well, what do you think about those voices? Is there anything that stood out to you that seemed to be really strange? If you're still there, Tom, we've had people from the DOC who've had sightings. We've had skeptics, hikers, trampers, campers, all kinds of people. And I've heard from well over 24 people. Well over, I mean, I've lost count, really. And I have not exactly, kept a great record of all of this. I have a little bit from my documentary. Yes, Native Americans. Oh, you're saying the Native Americans, they talk about the Sasquatch, and I know they've talked about, I've seen pieces where they say, well, they could be there and you wouldn't know it. I mean, this makes a lot of sense. You look at places like Skinwalker Ranch. Does it have anything to do with the missing 411? One of those voices says, "We take woman." The first recording that I play, "We take woman." I don't know if they mean they're taking their own, they're bringing their own woman, or something else is happening, something that's shocking. So strange stuff. So I invite you to go back over. If you missed those samples, go back over them, have a listen. Quite amazing. The voices, most of them do not sound normal. But there's something else going on. Are they connected with those craft? Oh, you can only see your... Okay. Oh, you can only see comments. Yeah, I don't know why that is. Sorry, Pam. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Once you start getting to this topic, and I think if you're humble and you show respect and have a loving heart, I think that will take you a long way with doing this kind of stuff. Dr. Gary Cook, who did the documentary Voices from the Forest, talks about the Pataperehe, or the fairy people, which could be the Bigfoot people of New Zealand. Also, for anybody that's new joining in here, hey, maybe I'll just play that one of the "Except the Bigfoot people, big people." Here we go. I'll play that. So can you please tell us your names, please? Something about people. So there you go. That repeated strange voice that I got during a paranormal investigation back in 2015, Auckland, New Zealand, just after I had arrived back from some 20 years in the United States. Very strange voice that repeats and comes through. That seems to defy what skeptics say. Oh, that all of this is just mere radio spatter. That it's just something that we're making up in our imagination. But I think that in some cases, that kind of thinking is cognitive dissonance. That people are not accepting that what they're hearing is actually real, and it didn't just create itself. So what did you think about those voices? Please put a comment in the video, hit like, share. It's just my new YouTube channel is just in a very infant state, and it's got pretty humble stage. Starting there at a humble stage, so pretty cool stuff, isn't it? So the reason why I attributed a lot of the weird stuff that happened to me when I first went to the bush was because of that message. These footprints in very wild places where the public don't normally go, or very hard to get to, machete required kind of areas. The New Zealand wilderness is very unforgiving, steep, treacherous, slippery, very thick, very hard to traverse. I think was it Bear Grylls? I think he did a show, didn't he? I should maybe go back and look at that episode. Bear Grylls it goes to New Zealand. Now, I don't know if he went through the New Zealand wilderness, but if you was in the wet wilderness that is like thick rainforest and you're in it, you can't see which way you're going. Very thick, hard to move, hard to carry a pack, hard to carry tripods or anything like that. When I go, I have to travel very lightly. Yeah, Pam. Yeah, thanks. I seem to. Yeah, I seem to. It's all a matter of having good recording devices because there's stuff that's going on that we aren't aware of. We are not aware of what's going on around us, myself included. And sometimes I might get intuitive kinds of feelings about what's going on, but in general, not aware of these other dimensions that are around us. But they seem to be able to affect our dimension in ways that I would call regular ghosts aren't able to. Are they the poltergeists of the forest? So John Keel, Mothman Prophecies author, who did that movie from the early 2000s, Richard Gere. He mentioned that the people that they saw UFOs, they also, about half of them had poltergeist-like phenomena taking place in their home too. Hey, it sounds a bit like something at Skinwalker Ranch, isn't it? Something that could happen over at Skinwalker Ranch. So anyway, there's a reason why I am the Haunted Man. It's because of the stuff that you are hearing now. It's the stuff that you're seeing. Where this will go, I don't know for sure. I am led to believe that it could turn into something far bigger. So I have been working for a long time to have permission to record things that are going on. I have been working on this for a long time. I am also working on this documentary, and I've been compiling footage of things that you haven't seen, which are in the documentary footage, which I have. So I thought I would just, do some teasers about what's going on, because it is, to me, is quite amazing, and it's quite neat to talk about this kind of stuff. So I'm going to have to finish up very soon. So, if there's any questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. So I have been really busy, so it's really hard for me to get the time to do these podcasts. So it's a challenge for me. How about a home? Oh, you mean at home? Yeah, stuff does happen. Yeah, not to the same degree as out there. There's definitely, yes, I do get EVPs quite a lot. Like even filming that mountain of entities, that footage, I caught an EVP filming that. In a short amount of time I was doing that. Something about we go home with you or something like that. I forget what it was now. Some strange. This happens so much that it's just, I don't know. I'm pretty battle hardened now. I mean, all the stuff that I've experienced in my life. There was a time like in America when I would go to help people, and I worked with a team as well, and had many experiences. So yes, I do get some stuff at home. When I first went into the New Zealand bush, I was there just interested in historical gold areas. That's when I actually, the weird stuff happened. And the phenomena seemed to come home with me. There was poltergeist, minor, I'd say minor, not in a big way, just minor stuff. Stuff would move around in the home. They seemed to like the kids' toys. They would move around by themselves, and other people noticed some of the things that were going on. There were also shadow-like beings. I also had my life preserved when I nearly died. When was this? About 2016. I had a medication interaction. A shadow-like person rushed up to me, shoved something into my heart area. The ambulance staff was surprised I was still alive after what happened. So there's a lot of very dramatical stuff. This is stuff like out of the X-Files, out of a movie. And what is amazing is it's real. And I've been fortunate to be allowed, or whatever, I've been allowed to record some of what's been going on. This is one of my biggest pet peeves, being an experiencer or a witness, is seeing something and not being able to show other people, well, this is what happened. It's just my testimony that I can share with you. That's all I have, which, take it or leave it. I know people get very frustrated with, people saying they saw something, but they never have a camera in time, or the Bigfoot's blurry. So my goal is to get clear footage. Now, those UFOs, they're not easy to get on camera. That drone footage that I got was shooting at 24 frames a second. That was how it was set up. Film speed, regular cinema film speed. So any kind of movement that's moving fast, yes, it's kind of blurry. But I have had some stuff that you can see them a little bit better, but they are, when they're moving fast. I don't know if you saw that piece with Brandon Frugal, the new owner of Skinwalker Ranch, that has that show that goes out. He went from skeptic to experiencer, which he admits now that he has seen things that are unexplained. It was just a matter of time, wasn't it? And I'm sure that Mr. Robert Bigelow, former owner, is probably quite jealous that he did not have his own account, just like Steven Spielberg that was jealous of other people. He was making these really neat movies on these subjects, on these anomalous topics, and he had not seen a UFO himself yet. Am I doing gifting with them? Well, that's a good question, Pam. About 3 weeks or so ago, I did take them a bag of fruit, of what's called feijoas, native fruit here. I don't know if they grow in the islands or if they're just native to New Zealand. It's a sweet green, looks like a pear that's squashed. They're more elongated fruit. I gave them some of those. I left a bunch for them. I went there with a couple of other researchers who I regard as friends also from New Zealand, who placed rock stacks in this area. Now, when I went back there another time, something slid. I was being observed, and there was something slid and then caught itself. This happened also into research area number 1, where I found all these footprints and structures and stuff going on. It's really interesting. And I know there's some of you here that have had your own experiences, and sometimes you see, I never really had an interest in Bigfoot kind of stuff until it wasn't even the experience by Skinwalker Ranch that really. I figured that was possibly a Bigfoot from the Uinta Basin. It wasn't until the stuff started happening when I got back to New Zealand. That's when I really started doing detective work. And it was actually a bit hair-raising at first. Hearing something walking towards me, following me, the stone clacking, the tree knocks, the structures, the strange voices. Some of the voices very deep, saying, "Come up." Some of the voices matched some of the voices in the stereo sounds. I'd hear this whoop, the whoops, the deep whoops. Sometimes, quite often, they would mimic words I said. They would repeat them. Sometimes these words are not words that we really use in New Zealand very much, like the Marararo or New Zealand. One of the names for New Zealand is Bigfoot. That's a word we don't hear. We hear very little in the media. So if anyone's trying to say, well, you picked up a stray radio signal. Well, I'm picking up stuff that just happens to repeat a word that's not used very much. Oh, really? Yeah. Looking me up on Mark Capel. I am kind of hard to find through there. You look me up through, thank you. Thank you, Glenn. Yeah, please do. Go to my Haunted Man. I'll add you to my group. I put stuff in there that might not be in here, and vice versa. Sometimes stuff's in here that might not be in there. So, but I post stuff that I find of interest. I don't always agree with the stuff I post, but I try to be as open-minded as possible. They say don't be so open-minded your brain falls out. Oh, really? Oh, thank you. Well, let's see. Would you give me permission to share it? And I'll credit you. Give me credit information. I'll play it my next podcast if you would mind. Yeah. So this is from Sydney, Australia. How long ago was this, Glenn? Yeah, I'm in a few groups. I mean, I try to keep my feelers out there, but I really don't have. I really don't. I don't follow stuff like I would like to because I'm just so busy. Yeah, I might get a window of like half an hour at night, whatever, to have a look through stuff, or I've just got so much. I'm busy just about until my head hits the pillow. Stuff that happens, yeah. Pam was just asking, I had a fire alarm, the smoke alarm went on by itself once and it's turned off. They said that was Alce, that very name that repeats, Alce, Elme, the same being that comes through on the ITC sessions, that also comes through in the field. Alme's here. These voices, these are repetitive pieces of information that is coming through. I'm getting described another civilization, a very advanced civilization, which I attribute to these at least some of them, some of these craft that are seen in our skies. They could very easily travel without us seeing them, and I only think that we see them because they allow that. They can. I saw one very big round circular craft up by Mount Moehau. This is actually when I caught the smaller craft that just faded out right in front of my eyes up by the mountain, right in front of me. I couldn't get my jolly camera out. I was so pissed. I've had a number of those moments where I was pissed because I couldn't get my camera out, and I don't know if I was hyperventilating more because what I saw, or because I was feeling a little pissed that I didn't capture. Oh, really? Who are you? This is Hui, Auckland. I'm thinking you're talking about, right? How high up off the ground was this, Tom? Seriously, I should do. Oh, the site, yeah, Haunted Man. Just type up Haunted Man. There's a picture, a screenshot from Close Encounters of the Third Kind on the thumbnail for the Facebook group. Oh, really? Yeah. It's Huia Beach. Yeah, I caught another craft earlier when I first go. It's weird. I think that we can get a little inspiration about going to areas to have this kind of contact. Where does this all lead? Is there some sort of personal transformation that's taking place when we have these kinds of experiences? Are we going to be taken into some other world? My contacts with family have eroded to near nothing, and I wondered if there was some sort of orchestrated event taking place behind the scenes. In 2013, I saw this oblong metallic-like craft that flew between these mountains out of Nelson, Nevada. That's what set me into ufology in early 2013, which that year I went to Skinwalker Ranch in July. Was it early July? Oh, really? Just hovering. As I say, I really need to do a report form on my website on Mountain of Entities. Thank you so much. I really, I spoke to another man who lives in the area that had seen something as well. So these things are out there, folks. And I think, welcome, Glenn. These things are out there. This is the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more going on than what we realize. Think about the stuff that just happens to be seen, or, there's a lot of people that don't do reports because of ridicule or whatever. There's a lot going on. And if they don't want to be seen, they won't be seen. It's really as simple as that. What I have learned is they are very, very careful about their appearances. The craft the recent ones I've got are moving very fast. One of them hovered over in Mount Moehau in 2017. I did file a report to MUFON at the time. The director of Australasia, MUFON, he had a look at the footage. There was some kind of mist also in a shot too. One of the craft that does a mid-air flip. I just haven't been filing reports lately. I really haven't. I just there was another place that takes reports that I had done some, but they didn't file a report. So I just thought, well, I'm not going to be doing that anymore. So they're out there, and I think that we can connect them. Are they all warm, fluffy, flurry, like a little kitten? I don't think so. But they are highly intelligent, highly aware of us. From doing ITC, I'm getting information that we could not get any other ways. Oh, really? You're talking about the reporting website, I like MUFON, and yeah, I mean they must get a bunch of reports, but I've seen ones over Auckland International Airport airspace in restricted flight zone, moving very fast. Point Chevrolet, Auckland. A ball that was similar to the gopher. Was it the ball? There was the Department of Homeland Security, that FLIR footage that George Knapp talked about. That was, when was this? 2017. I forget what year it was. It was moving very quick. Caught on a FLIR camera from a surveillance plane, basically going out there looking for smugglers, traffickers. So interesting. Aren't we living in interesting times now that a lot of these anomalies are now getting caught, and sometimes detected in various ways too, with radar. Not only witnesses on the ground, we've got pilots. You're getting caught on also electronically on cameras. So really interesting times, isn't it? So please if you really like what I'm doing, please like, share, subscribe. I don't make money off doing this. It's nice to talk to people who have experiences and sightings and people who are interested. I'm hoping that one day I'll have stuff that's as good as, if not better than, Bob Gimlin's footage of what's going on. What I'm trying to do is I'm looking through the keyhole. I'm looking through the anomalous keyhole to what's going on, and I'm using unconventional ways to make contact. Now, if they can manipulate nuclear warheads in the bunkers, then they can easily make contact with us using electronic devices. It's as simple as that. I know parapsychologists that think the ghost box stuff is rubbish, and there hasn't been proper scientific data that has been done by such people. But if we look in historical stuff, there has been a number of things done. I do have an article, just a brief article on on Mountain of Entities. .com. This problem when you've had too many websites, it's still stuck in there. Yeah, I don't know. The TR3Bs, yeah. There's some thought that they may be our technology. I got stuff over in South Auckland, a train of them. There was a possibly thought of them being Chinese lanterns. However, they were moving faster than the wind speed, and they lanterns. I don't know. Could be lanterns. I don't know for sure. It was one of those things where in doubt, throw it out. Kind of like the name that from the food service industry. If you're in doubt with the food, you throw it out. You don't give anyone food poisoning. Oh, really? Messy. Oh, okay. Yeah, the stuff that happens all the time. I think, people look at me and think, Mark, you must be crazy. They're scared of me or something. Mark, you just get too much stuff. There's something, obviously, you're faking it. You're doing something. I would sign an affidavit. That everything that I have is all real. Nothing is doctored. The only thing I do is might slow footage down, or I might zoom in, or I might have to enhance the audio a little bit so I can hear it. But this stuff all goes hand in hand with the ITC communication that is going on. I'm talking about what I saw was similar to Chinese lanterns. They were moving through restricted airspace, though, and they were going through a rural area, going across Papakura into Papakura. Ironically, not too far from my first research area. So yeah, that was me. Could be, yeah. I don't know. I have been asking for permission. I do have a photographer background as well. I've had my own dark rooms. I've worked as a semi-pro photographer. I'm also a creative professional. I've done creative graphics for a long time. I'm well averse to working with graphics. I'm not really a 3D person. I haven't really done the 3D stuff though. Just 2D stuff. Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad you came in there. Thanks for sharing what happened. Looking forward to seeing footage. Yeah, I do check stuff out people send. Somebody also sent me a little while ago. I never put the pictures up. A cattle mutilation in the South Island that took place. Typical cattle mutilation. This is from academic. That didn't want to have their name out there. I was thinking about putting that up sometime. So anyway, folks, thanks so much for following me. I'm Mark Capel, the Haunted Man. Like, share, subscribe, make a comment. I'd love to read your comments too. I love the insight I get is from the comments that I read as well. I hope you liked today's podcast. And I'm trying to just get this out there.